Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel. Before we dive into one of nature's coolest anatomical surprises, let me just take a quick moment to send some positive energy your way. To everyone tuning in right now, wherever you are in the world, I genuinely hope you're feeling fantastic, full of vitality, and taking excellent care of yourselves. Wishing you strong health and happiness today, and always, your well-being is truly the most important thing. Okay, grab your favorite drink and get comfy, because we're talking about one of the most iconic animals on the planet, the giraffe, and a fact about its incredible neck that will absolutely blow your mind. Giraffes have the exact same number of neck bones as humans do. Yep, you heard that right. Despite their necks stretching meters into the sky, they rock the same 7 vertebrae in their neck as you and I have. Let's unpack this amazing piece of biology together. It seems almost impossible, doesn't it? You look at a giraffe, gracefully nibbling leaves from the top of an acacia tree, its neck reaching heights of 5 meters or even 6 meters tall, and then you look at yourself. Our necks are relatively short, supporting our heads that weigh a few kilograms. Logic might scream that such an enormously long neck must be built with dozens upon dozens of bones, like a super long ladder. But nature, in its fascinating wisdom, took a different path. Both humans and giraffes, along with almost every other mammal on Earth, from tiny mice scurrying in your garden to massive elephants, possess precisely 7 cervical vertebrae. That's the scientific term for the bones that make up your neck. So, the blueprint for the neck skeleton is remarkably consistent across wildly different mammals. The difference isn't in the number, it's in the size and shape of each individual bone and how they work together. Think about those 7 bones in your own neck for a second. They are relatively small, each one maybe a few centimeters long, stacked neatly on top of each other with flexible discs in between and connected by muscles and ligaments. This setup gives us a decent range of motion. We can nod yes, shake no, tilt our heads sideways, and look up and down reasonably well. Now, imagine taking those same 7 foundational building blocks, but scaling them up massively and engineering them for extreme length and specialized function. That's exactly what evolution did for the giraffe. Each individual neck bone or vertebra in a giraffe is enormous. We're talking about bones that can be over 28 centimeters long. That's roughly the length of a standard ruler. So, while we have 7 small neck bones, the giraffe has 7 incredibly elongated neck bones. It's like comparing 7 short building blocks stacked to make a small tower versus 7 super long steel beams stacked to make a construction crane. The basic count is identical, but the resulting structure is vastly different in scale and capability. This design choice by evolution raises a really interesting question. Why didn't giraffes just evolve more neck bones? Wouldn't adding extra vertebrae make building such a long neck easier? It turns out, changing the fundamental number of vertebrae in mammals is incredibly rare and often linked to serious problems. The number 7 seems to be a kind of biological sweet spot, deeply ingrained in our mammalian genetic blueprint. Adding or subtracting vertebrae, especially in the neck, can disrupt crucial connections for nerves, blood vessels, and the spinal cord itself, potentially leading to major developmental issues or health complications. So, evolution found a more efficient solution. It dramatically increased the size of the existing 7 vertebrae rather than messing with the number. It's a testament to working with the existing framework and modifying it for extreme performance. But having super long bones is only part of the story. To make that neck truly functional, the joints between these giant vertebrae needed special adaptations. This is where things get really cool. The joints between our human neck vertebrae are relatively simple, allowing the movements we're familiar with. Giraffe neck joints, however, are masterpieces of biomechanical engineering. Think of a ball-and-socket joint, like your hip or shoulder, which allows for a wide range of motion in multiple directions. Now, imagine that kind of joint, but specifically adapted for strength and stability while supporting immense weight and length. The joints between a giraffe's neck vertebrae function much like modified ball-and-socket joints. The rounded end, or ball, of one vertebra fits into a cup-like socket, or fossa, on the next vertebra. This design provides tremendous stability, essential for holding up that heavy head and long neck, while still allowing the flexibility needed for essential giraffe activities. What kind of flexibility are we talking about? Well, picture a giraffe bending its long neck down to a waterhole to drink. That requires craning its neck downwards in a steep arc. Then, imagine it swinging its neck sideways to nibble leaves or engage in the famous behavior called necking, where males battle for dominance by swinging their necks and heads at each other like heavy clubs. This involves powerful sideways sweeps. To reach the highest, tastiest leaves, it needs to crane its neck upwards almost vertically. All of these complex movements, up, down, sideways, and the arcs in between, are made possible by the specialized ball-and-socket-like joints between those 7 massive vertebrae. These joints provide a surprising degree of controlled movement, far more than you might expect from such a long structure. It's a perfect blend of strength and controlled flexibility, allowing the giraffe to precisely position its head, equipped with that long, prehensile tongue, to strip leaves from branches. Supporting this incredible structure requires more than just bones and joints. It demands powerful muscles and specialized ligaments. The muscles running along a giraffe's neck are massively developed, acting like thick cables anchoring the vertebrae together and controlling their movement against the constant pull of gravity. Think about the effort it takes for you to hold your head up all day. Now multiply that effort by orders of magnitude to support a head that can weigh over 100 kilograms perched on the end of a multi-meter lever. One of the most crucial support structures is a unique ligament called the nuchal ligament. This is a super strong, elastic band of tissue that runs from the top of the giraffe's head, down the back of its neck, and attaches along its spine. It acts like a giant, built-in bungee cord or suspension cable. When the giraffe lifts its head, this ligament stretches, storing elastic energy. When it lowers its head, the ligament helps pull it back up, significantly reducing the sheer muscle power needed. This ingenious system provides passive support, making the constant up and down motion of feeding much more energy efficient. Of course, having such a long neck presents other extraordinary challenges beyond just supporting the weight. How does blood get all the way up to the brain, which sits roughly 2 meters above the heart? And how does it get back down without causing the giraffe to faint? The heart has to be incredibly powerful. A giraffe's heart is massive, weighing around 11 kilograms and generating enormous pressure, about twice the blood pressure of a healthy human. This powerful pump is essential to overcome gravity and push blood vertically up that long neck to the brain. But the system doesn't stop there. To prevent the giraffe from essentially blowing out the blood vessels in its brain when it lowers its head to drink, nature equipped it with a series of safety valves and pressure-regulating structures. One key feature is a complex network of small blood vessels at the base of the brain called the rete mirabile, Latin for wonderful net. This net acts like a pressure buffer, absorbing the surge of blood when the head is lowered and helping to regulate flow to the delicate brain tissue. Additionally, special valves in the major neck arteries and veins help control the flow, preventing blood from rushing back down too quickly when the head is raised, which could cause a blackout. It's an incredibly sophisticated, high-pressure circulatory system specifically evolved for extreme height. The nerves face a similar long-distance challenge. Signals from the brain need to travel all the way down the neck to control the legs, and sensory information from the legs and body needs to travel all the way back up to the brain. The nerve controlling the voice box, for instance, takes an astonishing detour. In mammals, this nerve, called the recurrent laryngeal nerve, loops down near the heart before coming back up to the larynx. In a giraffe, this detour means the nerve can be several meters long, vastly longer than the direct route, just to cover a relatively short distance between brain and voice box. While this might seem inefficient, it's a consequence of our shared evolutionary history. The nerve's path was established in fish-like ancestors where the route made sense, and modifying such a fundamental wiring plan deep within the body is evolutionarily difficult. So, the giraffe lives with this long looping nerve, a quirky reminder of our shared biological heritage despite the vastly different body forms. Understanding that giraffes share our 7-neck bone blueprint isn't just a quirky fact, it's a powerful window into evolution. It shows how natural selection works with the existing genetic and developmental toolkit. Instead of inventing a whole new neck structure with a different number of bones, which might have been developmentally disruptive or impossible, evolution dramatically modified the size and shape of the existing 7 vertebrae and their connecting tissues. It optimized the joints for strength and flexibility, reinforced everything with massive muscles and specialized ligaments, and developed extraordinary solutions for blood pressure and nerve conduction. This principle of modifying existing structures rather than starting from scratch is common in evolution and is known as descent with modification. We see the same foundational skeletal plan, but adapted for radically different lifestyles and environments. Sadly, these magnificent giants, perfectly adapted to their environment over millions of years, face serious threats today. Giraffe populations across Africa are declining due to habitat loss as human settlements and agriculture expand, fragmenting the land they need to roam. They are also vulnerable to poaching for their meat, hides, and sometimes even their tails. Civil unrest in some regions further complicates conservation efforts. Recognizing the shared wonder of their anatomy, built upon the same basic plan as ours, makes their conservation feel even more urgent. They are not just distant curiosities, they are fellow mammals, showcasing the incredible adaptability of life on Earth, using the same fundamental building blocks we possess in such an astonishing way.